Hi, this is Reverend Ken Wilcox with the Center for Spiritual Living, St. Augustine. Normally when I arrive at the building to give one of my talks, it's alive with people setting up for the service, choir practicing, people organizing the hospitality, and practitioners getting ready to do their treatment work. Today, not so much. We're all being asked to step up to life as this challenge confronts us. And we're doing our part. We're grateful that you're doing yours and supporting us through this challenge. Your support is vital. You can text a donation to us and mail a donation to us. Information is posted below on how to do either of those. You know, when you show up here on Sunday, I always ask you do one simple thing, and that is to leave all your troubles, your would-haves, your could-haves, your should-haves, to leave all that stuff outside, and for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more healings, more blessings, more courage, and more compassion. All those things that make us feel alive. For this is what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a good place today. Your time with us will be well spent, and you will leave this video feeling healed and blessed and prospered in some significant way. God bless. Welcome home. Thanks for sharing your day with us. My talk today is Your Divine Birthright. And before we get going, let's set the tone for it and have a reading and meditation. Today I'm reading from the Creative Thought magazine, the 2015 edition, and it was a practitioner from Redondo Beach. Her name is Catherine McKinney. She wrote, "I bless myself. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. This is the day God has made, and I rejoice in it. I am a unique expression of the infinite intelligence, and I am part of the glory of God. The beauty of the one life is expressing as my life, and I embrace my divine expression. I set my intention to remind myself often how truly amazing I am. How can I be anything less as I align myself with infinite intelligence? There is nothing blocking my success when I decide to take action. I am grateful to know my source is always supporting my highest good and greatest intention. I am grateful for all I have, all I am, and all I can be. With gratitude and love and joy, I release my word unto law, and so it is." So if you will now, just take a moment and join me in consciousness to know something good and powerful, that we are one with Spirit. Spirit is ever flowing through us, ever calling us to a greater healing, a greater blessing, a greater joy. Here, now, I accept all of these blessings. I know Spirit has called me forth so I can experience all the great good of life. So I am not afraid. I am not fearful. I know I can move through any challenge with God, and there is nothing too hard for God, and there is nothing too good for me. So today, I accept all the blessings of love, joy, happiness, prosperity, and health. Today, I move forward in compassion and courage. Spirit has called me forth, and I am answering that call. Now just join with me in a few moments of silence and allow the Spirit and the wisdom of the universe to speak through your heart and your soul. So my talk today is Your Divine Birthright. One of the most empowering ideas that I learned when I first started coming to our teaching is that we all have a divine birthright. We have a right to be alive. We have a right to be here and to experience the full expression of God's blessings. All the love, the joy, the happiness, the success, the prosperity that Spirit has to offer. This is your birthright, and it's my birthright, and it's ours to accept. No one can take it from us. So here today, know and accept your full birthright, right as you are, just as you are. Not when you become all enlightened or all saintly, and certainly not when you die. All with your woundedness, your nooks and crannies, through all the cracks of your soul, Spirit can shine forth and bring blessings that you cannot even imagine. And don't let all the fear and doubt and the turmoil that's overtaken the world affect you. You and God have this. We're not here to be victims. We have more power than we could imagine. Too many of us are waiting to be healed to become healers. Too many of us are waiting to become blessed in order to be blessings. But this isn't how it works. We have to step up and be the healers. We have to step up to be the blessings. Spirit is calling for us to be more than we think we can be. When you tell yourself that you don't have the strength and you don't have the courage to do what your Spirit is calling you to do, you're telling God that it doesn't have the strength to overcome the shadows of this world. I was sharing a story last week about my teacher, Kennedy Schultz, as he led his congregation through the AIDS epidemic of the 80s. I said he had a ministry of over 700 people, and they were filling the Symphony Hall in Atlanta twice each Sunday, because the truth of the matter was there was no place else, there was no other church in Atlanta that was going to allow those people to come and to be welcomed. I didn't share one story with you that I thought I would today. It was from the president of his board of directors, and he shared a story of how during that time you would often hear that people were in the hospital, and you would go and you would find them dying. He had gotten such a call, and he said he went into the hospital room, and there his friend was laying, and he said he knew he was laying on his deathbed. He said there was no cards in the room, no flowers, and the only other person in the room was the man's mother, and she was sitting in the corner, and she was screaming Bible verses at him. He said he looked at that scene, and he was terrified. He didn't know if he was seeing his future, what could happen to him. And he said he didn't have the courage to know what to do in that circumstance. And he said before he could give it much thought, he suddenly realized what he had to do. And he went and he laid down next to his friend in the bed. You can only imagine how at that time, what an act of courage that was. There were people who didn't even want to touch people who had AIDS. But he laid with him in the bed, he held him in his arms, and he began to whisper to him, "You're loved, you're one with God, you're cared for, and you are special." He said he would have never been able to do that if it hadn't have been the courage he got from Kennedy Schultz. But you see, he didn't get that courage from Kennedy. He got that courage from the Spirit of his own soul, calling him for a higher knowing, encouraging him to lift his eyes up, encouraging him to be more than he thought he was capable to be stronger than he had conceived. He acted from love and compassion right where he was, using exactly what he had. And this is what we're all being called to do at this time. One of the biggest challenges we have as we go through this storm of fear and uncertainty is to be able to hold on to our humanity and our compassion. Because the truth is, we don't know how this epidemic is going to play out. We don't know what the coming weeks are going to hold. I know some people have said that they hope by Easter that the churches will be packed. Well, we don't know if the churches will be filled or the hospitals will be filled. But if we're spiritual adults, if we've stepped into our spiritual community, then maturity, then we know that we can have faith and trust in Spirit. And whatever is confronting us in the future, we will be able to handle it. We will be able to have control. Not giving in to a desire to just believe anything to calm our fears down. We have to know that with Spirit, we're able to handle anything that confronts us. It's a time for heroes. We all have a hero within us. Red Fox said, heroes aren't made, they're cornered. I always loved the story of Moses when he would go before Pharaoh and he would say, set my people free. And if you don't, the Lord my God will bring a plague upon you. Eventually, Pharaoh got tired of the plagues and set the Israelites free. But once the Israelites were out to the Red Sea, Pharaoh had changed his mind and he had sent his army after Moses and the Israelites. And there Moses was. The Red Sea was in front of him, and Pharaoh's army was fast approaching. And there, in that place, in that corner, he stepped up to his power, and he looked out on those waters, and he said, waters part. I'm walking on dry land to the promised land. There's a promise that Spirit has made to me, and I'm holding it fast. I'm not turning back. I know where I need to go. Many of us today are feeling like that we have the Red Sea in front of us and Pharaoh's army fast approaching from behind us. Now's the time for us to step up into our power and say, waters part. I'm taking my friends and family, I'm taking myself, and I'm moving on to a promised land of compassion, of kindness, of healings and blessings. God and I have work to do, and we are on the move. It's within us to do, and we can do it. It's not a matter of not having fears. It's a matter of having the fears and stepping up anyway. And in that place of the unknowing, the best we can do is to stay smart, stay calm, and stay compassionate. Look after one another. It doesn't have to be big, huge, dramatic things. It can just mean just being human, just using the compassion within your soul to do what you can for those around you. This past week, I heard from a friend who's going through chemo. He's having a lot of nausea. His caretaker was running out of paper towels, so she asked our community if anyone had some extra ones. Within half a day, our community had come together, and we had a whole stack of paper towels we could give her. I had some extra in the garage, so I had offered to put them out to the woman that was collecting them. My next-door neighbor saw me leaving paper towels out on the porch, and paper towels right now are an important commodity here in St. Augustine. She asked what I was doing, and I told her. And she said, I've just gotten a package of paper towels. I'll give you. She was giving something that's quite valuable to her right now for someone she doesn't even know. This is the compassion of Christ. This is the Christ consciousness. Stepping up, being loving and caring for people that we don't even know, because we know that they are one with us. They are children of the Most High, and they deserve all the blessings. And we have a way to lift up and to encourage and inspire. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he says there's a presence in the universe which we can communicate with, which will respond to our call. He says there's something in us that longs for the sympathetic understanding, a kindly response. He says we have to have it if we're going to be the compassionate humans that we want to be. He says when we meet one another in love and friendship, in the eyes of the beloved is the warmth and love of God. He says the hand that gives is the hand of God. The eye that sees is the eye of God. In each other, through each other, we contact Spirit. When we contact each other, we are contacting a creation of the divine. When we talk to one another, it is God talking to God. It is God recognizing God. It is God loving God. There's a power within each of us, and that power is the creativity of the universe flowing through us. And this power knows us. It loves us. It supports us. It's not seeking to punish. It's not seeking to condemn. It's longing to uplift, to inspire, to encourage us to be more of ourselves, the true part of ourselves, even with our little nooks and crannies and mistakes, even with our broken places, particularly because of our broken places. Through our broken places, Spirit can shine forth. What we see as our biggest stumbling block, God sees as our biggest stepping stone to our powerful selves. So in the coming days, we're going to have challenges, but you know, we're up to them. Dr. Holmes says when things look their darkest is when we have our greatest strength. So in the coming days, do your prayer work. Do your prayer work for our national leaders, those you like and those you may not care so much about. Do your prayer work for the grocery store clerks, the people who are stocking the supplies, the people who are sending the supplies. When you go through the paper aisle and you see that the hoarders have cleaned out the paper supplies, do prayer work for them. See that extra roll of paper towel that they may or may not need, or the can of soup. See that supply, giving them some assurance that life is going to be okay, that they're going to be okay, that they have God supporting them, and that they are not on their own out in the world. And then do your prayer work for the nurses and doctors. Do your prayer work for those who are trying to alleviate suffering. Some people are wondering, where is God in this crisis? God is in the nurse who shows up, who's willing to put her family at risk, but shows up to do her work in the hospital because she knows that no one else is going to do it, and there has to be someone there to help alleviate the suffering. God is there in the researchers. God is there in our leaders. It's with the neighbor who's willing to give the extra roll of paper towel because she wants to help out where she can. God is in all of us and is calling us forth at this time, and we're up to it. We have the power, we have the knowing, we have the wisdom to rise up and to bring a light of love, of hope, and courage and inspiration that can illuminate the world. Now's the time. We're the people. It's within every one of us. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. All right, join with me in a final closing affirmative prayer. I'm going to do this prayer in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tightly to it. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let it slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There's only one God, there's only one mind, there's one power. And that power is perfect love, it's divine intelligence. And I have a complete birthright to step into all the love and the power and creativity that Spirit envisioned when it set me forth in life. So here today, I now know that I have the power and the calling to be the hero of my life. Here today, I know that I can be compassionate and kind, that I can step into my full humanity, that God is encouraging me and inspiring me, and that every step of the way I will know what to do to bring about the greatest blessings of life. Spirit and I are powerful. Spirit and I have great work to do. So here today I am stepping up and I am stepping back and I am not turning around. I know this. I celebrate it. I rejoice in this right knowing. And I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, know this final truth with me. Your life is not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all.
Finally tonight here, America Strong, the message from the doctors. Imagine. Tonight, the two American doctors with the message.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
Dr. Elvis Francois singing, Dr. William Robinson playing piano, orthopedic surgeon residents at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, singing John Lennon's Imagine after their shifts ended.
Imagine
Both of them telling us tonight why they did it.
It just felt like a good time to share that bit of hope and togetherness and do a bit to make someone's day out there a little bit better.
But I'm not the only one.
In order to beat this thing and self-isolate and quarantine, you know, it's going to take everybody. And so the message of that song kind of hit home.
Tonight, their message as America fights this with the world.
I hope someday that you will join us. And the world will live as one.
That landed today when I saw it. We are grateful to our doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers on the front lines. I'm David Muir. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.